everybody. We are back. Finally, we are back with another episode of Niner Chatter. It's been a while since we've been able to do this, and I'm really sorry about that. It's it's just been a real crazy last few weeks with training camp and some other things that have been going on, and just tried to find a time in the schedule that worked out. This one kind of works. I know for the folks on the West Coast, this is a little bit early, but since this thing's gone worldwide and we've got guys out over in Wales and the East Coast and everywhere else, I figured, let's go ahead and let's just get this going. Nice, middle of the day, maybe the end of the workday kind of time frame for some of us out here on the West Coast to talk some 49ers football. We finally got a game in on Saturday night, and we have all of training camp to talk about. So there's all kinds of fun stuff going on right now. So, uh, this show's really about getting the 49er faithful, 49ers fans on, let you guys, share your voice. We're going to go till about 5 o'clock. I do have to jump off right around that time. One of the busy things that's keeping me away keeping me busy and away from being able to do the show on a regular basis so far has been, obviously training camp, but also I have two boys that are playing football. One's in high school and the other one is playing Pop Warner. So I gotta get my younger one out the Pop Warner by 5:30. But so we'll do this for about an hour and a half. I think this will be a lot of fun, and we already got a couple of folks in here, and we got one guy who's on here all the time. So let's go ahead and let's bring him in. He's been on here since the very beginning. Korean 49er. How you doing tonight?
I'm good, Jack. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. What's going on?
You don't ever have to explain spending time with your kids. We all understand and appreciate that, so you don't ever have to explain that. Couple observations from the preseason game. The first one is our offensive line depth is horrendous. And we don't have a starting right guard at this current time. I was wondering if you're kind of thinking that too, because to me, in college football, I believe most programs try to bring in 4 offensive line recruits every year. I'm not sure why John and Kyle haven't brought in several undrafted free agents and maybe draft 1 or 2 offensive linemen every year, just because I don't think teams have enough of those kind of guys.
Yeah, well, let's look at it though real quick. I mean, I like your point, but and definitely there is some weakness along the offensive line. You're right on the right guard spot. It's going to be Daniel Brunskill. He's going to be the starter, for week one, especially with Aaron Banks going down. I don't see any way that he comes back and in between the last preseason game and the first regular season game show something that would lead them to thinking that he should start over Brunskill. But Brunskill has struggled. He struggled throughout training camp. We saw him struggle a little bit on Saturday night, but he is the best that they have, the best available option out there. Um, to the point as far as bringing in multiple guys, like maybe a college program would, you can't do that necessarily at the NFL level, obviously, but they do have. If you look at that second group, there's 3 guys that are on that group that they drafted in the last 2 years. There's Colton McKivitz was a 5th rounder, Jalen Moore was a 5th rounder, and they used that 2nd rounder on Aaron Banks. And I think Banks is struggling for a couple of different reasons, but uh, moving over from left to right guard might be one of them. He played, I think, that left side pretty much his whole time that he was at Notre Dame, and now he's shifted over to the right side, so that could be one of them. Uh, but I know from watching him in practice that he has a lot of little things that he's struggling with that are adding up to big things for him. And we saw on 2 occasions on Saturday night where he just got his doors blown off around the outside. So that's a worry for me. Jalen Moore, I think he's playing pretty good when you consider he's a 5th round draft pick. Obviously, he's not. There's going to be a big drop off from Trent Williams, who's a Pro Bowl level left tackle. But Moore did okay on Saturday night. Um, if you go back and you watch the sack that he gave up, the defensive end 92, he doesn't only beat Moore, he beats the entire 49ers offensive line. He's moving before anybody on that offensive line is moving. So, I don't know if that was something with the cadence that he was able to kind of time it up and guess and go, or what it was, but it wasn't like it was only uh, Moore that was late on that snap. So overall, other than that, he played okay. There was a couple of run plays that he struggled on, but that's just going to happen when you got a rookie that was a fifth round draft pick, right? And you're expecting him to play guard or be one of your swing guards, maybe be a swing tackle kind of thing, and now he's forced into the starting role. And yesterday we saw that again at practice. He uh, he gave up a sack to Arden Key in one-on-ones, and Key just did a really good job of just really shoving this, getting his hands off of him. He had with a really strong move, worked around his outside, but then he came back after that with a nice rep on Jordan Willis, I believe it was. And then they went into team period, and he just got destroyed on one play by I'm pretty sure it was Arden Key, just pretty much ran him over and pancaked him, and that would happen to be the play that Garoppolo threw the interception on, right? So he's got a defensive end who runs over his left tackle, and I didn't see it. I saw the interception. I didn't see where the ball. I didn't see where he was going with the ball. I didn't see any receiver in the area, so I'm not sure exactly what happened from Garoppolo than that he wanted to get the ball out of his hands there. So, uh, but yeah, it's a and McKivitz is McKivitz. I mean, he's an. They have serviceable guys who I think can play in spots as long as they're surrounded by the group. Um, but it's going to be a work in progress, and more. There was one point yesterday where Grant was standing next to me, and I told him I thought that you could see the frustration from Lake and Tomlinson with some of the stuff that was going on with Moore, because they tried to run a sweep and it got blown up in the backfield, and you know veteran chewing out the rookie is really what you chalk that up to.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah, I mean, I just kind of, and it kind of goes back to another thing that happened in the preseason game. I am unsure why Kyle didn't do more to protect Trey, because giving up 4 sacks in any game is a bad thing. And if they got Trey seriously injured in a preseason game, I have lots of questions about how are we going to fix this, because we invested all these resources to get Trey, and we can't even protect him in a preseason game. I have questions. I'll just leave it at that.
No, well, here's the thing, and this has been a topic since Saturday night. They're putting him in situations to have to show that they know that he can run around. They know that he can run the zone read. He needs to be able to make plays from the pocket if the team's going to get to where they want to go. He's not going to be able to just roll bootleg and roll out throughout the game. I know they kind of held him in there. Part of that holding him in the pocket was a lot. I think he like his list. Let me look at it real quick. His last eight of his attempts that he had, or 8 of the times that he dropped back, were at the end of the first half, and they're in 2 minute mode, right? And they're they didn't even try to attempt any kind of runs via handoff or anything like that. So it's kind of understandable. If this was a regular season game, I would have been frustrated. I think that the way that they handled it, I doesn't bother me at all. I understand the process that they're going through there. And on top of that, when you look at those 4 sacks, there's at least 2 that are on him. There's the sack, there's the sack down. The first sack is on him. Quite frankly, the one that Brunskill gets blown up on, that ball should have come out to Juwan Jennings early, but Lance is staring over at the tight end, thinking that he wants to try to throw this ball past the sticks for a first down, and by the time that his eyes come off of it, he's got a guy in his face, and you can see his feet just panic, and then he gets sacked. And then the second sack was on him as well. They've got a man beater against blitz with Gallman coming underneath. That should have been a ball that comes out quick. Doesn't get out. Doesn't get the ball out of his hand quick enough, and so he gets sacked. I understand. I think it was. I'm not sure. I think it was over McKivitz where the blitz came from that got to him. But still, once again, that ball should have been out, because it should have been one of those situations where he gets it and he's just popping it over. It shouldn't have taken nearly as long for that process to unfold. So that's 2 of the 4 sacks are on him. And then the let's see. So then you've got the Moore sack. That's one where they're doing a deep drop. The Moore sack was on 3rd and 10. So you've what are you going to do on 3rd and 10? You're not going to run bootleg on 3rd and 10. You're going to throw up, either going to throw a pass that's going to try to get you down there, or you're going to run the ball just to get off the field. So they're going to try to go ahead and pick up the first down. He gets some pressure. He moves out. There was a guy he might have been able to dump it off to if he wanted to in the flat on the right side. That would have had to be pretty quick, but that wasn't like he got hit hard. He started to dive on his own. So the guy just they basically fell at the top of him. I think and even the sack that he took from Banks on the next play wasn't really a hard hit because the guy came around and instead of blasting him, knocked the ball out of his hands. So the hardest hit I think he took was when they actually rolled him out to his left and that defensive end held him in and he started to take off up the middle and then fired it out the River Craycraft. I think him scrambling resulted in the hardest hit that he took all night, really.
That I believe that to be true also. So, um, one last point to you, Jack, and I'll let you get to other
Yeah.
callers.
Yeah.
I don't see Richie James and Jalen Hurd making this team. I mean, Richie James has fumbleitis, or I don't know what's his issue with, dropping balls. And then Jalen Hurd just can't consistently be on the practice field and get into preseason games to show what talent he has. To me, I feel very bad for Jalen because his body has betrayed him at this time,
Yeah. Yeah, about this time last week, or last Thursday after last Thursday's practice, I would have told you that you're wrong because he'd come back that day and he'd had a strong practice. I'm talking about Jalen Hurd now, and it was announced that he was going to be held out of the preseason game. So you're thinking, okay, well, if they're going to, he had a pretty good practice today. If they're willing to hold him out, they must really like this guy and expect him to be a guy that can play for him. But then he hasn't practiced all week. Sorry, not all year, but all week. He didn't practice on Monday. He didn't practice on Tuesday. And then they're flying down to San Diego. So, we know that he didn't even fly last year with the team anywhere. So it'll be interesting to see if he flies down there to San Diego for this week. So I'm starting to agree with you. I think he's the guy who probably isn't going to make the roster. I think he's probably a guy that'll end up on injured reserve again because they can do that. That's going to probably what will end up happening with her because they just have too many other guys that can play. And then Richie James just cannot hold on to the football. He cannot catch. Every time Trey Lance throws a pass to him, it bounces off of his hands. Yesterday he threw one off of his chest. That mean basically it was along the right sidelines. The Lance had rolled out. He put a bead right on his chest, and it bounces off. And we saw it on Saturday night with that out route too. It's unfortunate because he is a guy that can play. He made some nice catches yesterday from Jimmy Garoppolo. Which real quick, since I've got, since we're talking about it and you brought it up and you brought up the James dropping and I brought up the fact that James can't catch his pass. He doesn't seem to have a problem catching balls from Garoppolo. And I've sat next to Grant a couple different times during these press conferences, and he's done a really good job of trying to get an idea have receivers explain to him what the difference is between catching the ball from these two. We haven't really gotten an answer out of it yet, which, I understand. I think why they're not answering the question is because they're thinking it's trying to compare these two guys when really I think the question is how much harder is it to catch that ball that's coming in so fast, because Garoppolo puts a really catchable ball on you, and as Fred Warner found out. So
I think Jimmy helped Fred make a lot of money with all those interceptions in practice. I don't know, but
well,
appreciate you taking my. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's funny because I actually posted a video. I think it's on Twitter or my YouTube page with Fred Warner at practice before. Well, they're doing special teams drills. Him and Dre Greenlaw. All they were doing was working on catching balls with the linebackers coach. They're just throwing the ball and they're working on their hands. Jimmy Garoppolo is helping them just as much in their team drills.
Yeah, sadly. So.
All right.
Thank you for taking my call, Jack. I appreciate it.
No problem. You have a good day.
Yeah, you too.
All right. All right. Now this guy, we're going to go over to this one. I know this guy was on my my stream earlier today when I did the film breakdown of Trey Lance. He was in there trying to get a hold of me. Let's see if he's on there, because all we see is a picture. That's not usually what we see when it goes to Chardal. Chardal, are you there? Are you Chardal?
I'm there.
Oh, okay.
I'm just incognito.
You're like the Vader guard.
Incognito?
Yeah?
There you go.
Yeah.
What's going on?
So, I just want to talk about Buster Posey. The things I really like about Buster Posey that I've seen through the years is that he's a really great hitter. And that guy comes in clutch moments when they need him the most, which is one of the reasons why he's one of the greatest hitters on the Giants and one of the greatest catchers on the Giants, in my opinion. What are your thoughts? You think like he's a great hitter and he when they need him the most, he can come in times when they're losing and they need somebody to just seal the game. Do you think that they can Giant fans can rely on him in times
Yeah,
when we need some a star like that who can just completely turn the game around and
that,
completely like the team's losing and then he just hits like a home run or a grand slam and the team's up on the board with the lead. So
I would make a joke
uh,
about that, but you're right in a way that Buster Posey's been hitting a little bit more home runs this year than he has in the past. So he's got a better swing track or whatever it is that their manager talks about all the time. He seems to be having a much better year as far as power, and I think he's right around 333. So he's definitely hitting the ball for him pretty well.
how impressive have that you think have you seen about him um about Posey?
He's come back strong. He's playing really well this year, and for a guy that held out uh, for a guy that held out last year because of COVID and all that kind of stuff and was going on, he's come in and done really well.
As a Niner fan, I mean, I've seen a lot of good things in him. You know, watching him at the games, I've just seen so he's improving every year. I mean, his game is getting way better. His game is getting way better every single
Well,
time. I mean, he's definitely getting better. I mean, that's
yeah,
what
he's
I like
definitely
as a Giants fan, a longtime Giants fan who's been watching the game for more than anybody has. I really like seeing him, but it was kind of sad today when I looked at the at the starting lineup and he wasn't catching today. It was the backup catcher Kurt Casale.
okay.
He's the
I didn't know.
backup for Buster Posey, so he was in the plate today catching. So because it looks like they might need. I mean, I think they weren't starting him today. Maybe like they wanted to give him a little bit of rest. Posey to give him a little bit of rest so he can rest a little bit. Cause yeah, they don't want to tire him out. He's a star player. They don't want to get him tired. So yeah, they were probably resting him today.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
what
they
they
had
do. They give him a
Casale
break.
behind the plate. So um now I'm turning over to the 49ers.
Let's
What are your
go.
thoughts of the 49ers signing Haha Clinton Dix and Eddie Vanderdoos to both one year deals?
Well, at least Haha's still here. They had released poor Eddie Vanderdos. They released him earlier in the week, so he's no longer with us. I mean, he's still around, he's still alive, but he's just not a 49er anymore. And Haha Clint Dix is a guy who brings a lot of experience, and that's one of the things they need out of that's good for their backups that they're going with out there.
So the next question I have for you is that when they cut Josh Rosen, was that kind of too harsh? Because Grant was kind of a little bit too harsh on Josh Rosen. Um, I kind of felt that Grant was kind of being too like, that when they cut him, he was like kind of being like, putting him down a lot. I don't think that many
Uh,
Niner fans are kind of upset about that. Do you think that was the right move to cut him,
I
or
think
was
I think they put based off of the way that poor Josh was talking at the one time that the media was able to talk to him, which after the game on Saturday, I think the 49ers might have helped him out by putting the poor guy out of his misery. He just seemed like he was completely defeated and dejected and in need of a change of scenery. And so I think if anything, the 49ers did Rosen a solid by letting him move on.
which teams do you think Josh Rosen will get signed by as they just released him into free agency?
Maybe the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
Um, uh, so the other question is that there's no faith in Jimmy Garoppolo, and everybody's saying that he should go to the Colts. Do you think that's a good team that he should go to? Because there's rumors going on that should Jimmy Garoppolo get traded to the Colts?
Well, this is a good question. Now that you actually bring up one of the topics or points that I was thinking of before we started the show. So let me go on for a minute here. But with the release of Rosen yesterday, the talk about where Jimmy Garoppolo is going to get traded to and all that kind of stuff can stop, because I don't think I'm fairly certain that John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan aren't crazy enough to go into the regular season with Trey Lance and Nate Sudfeld as the only two quarterbacks on the roster. So it's going to be Garoppolo and Lance throughout this season.
What did you think about John Lynch getting inducted into the Hall of Fame at Canton?
Yeah.
I mean, what were your thoughts about that? Were you pretty excited that we have the general manager of the Niners, who was a former football player, play for the Buccaneers before he came over to the Niners to become their GM? Was that a pretty exciting thing? Because I bet all Niner fans were really pumped up to see John Lynch getting inducted into the Hall of Fame. That was a pretty big moment for Lynch.
I agree. I like it.
Yeah.
I like John Lynch really from his days at Stanford. So I was a big fan of his when he was a Stanford Cardinal. So seeing him get into the Hall of Fame for that reason was a little bit more exciting for me than the fact that he's the GM for the 49ers now, even though it is kind of cool to be able to see him out of practice, walk around the field, and be able to, see him out there playing catch with Kyle Shanahan during certain time periods of practice. It's pretty cool.
So for John Lynch, did you agree that he was pretty he was pretty intimidating on the field?
Yeah,
Anybody tried to he was like fierce. Would you agree that he would tackle, he would knock people out? He was that big burly guy on the field. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, he was a heck of a hitter, really good player. He was definitely worthy of getting into the Hall of Fame.
John Lynch, when he was playing for the Buccaneers and he was a hard hitter, then they should have thought of getting him in the blind side. Michael Orr. When the opposing team was messing around and he would just smack them and throw them like he's throwing them into the dumpster.
There you go. Yeah.
Like picking them up, using all the strength, and like they're going in the dumpster.
But throw them in there.
Throw them in the dumpster. They're going in the dumpster. Yeah, they should have thought of putting Lynch there because he was so fierce and strong that they should have thought of having him in the film with Michael Orr and that movie with the Ravens player. They should have thought of having him as the cast, one of the people in the cast of the movie. They should have put him into the movie, but I don't think why they didn't.
Yeah.
Kind of doesn't make any sense why they didn't do that.
Yeah. Yeah. What else you got for me? You got any more? You almost out of questions for me.
Do you think Trey
one.
Lance? Do you think Trey Lance will be the breakout player next year for the 49ers?
In 2022, he might be. I think there's a much better chance of him being the starting quarterback week 1 of 2022 than it's 2021.
Do you have any questions for me?
Let's see. Chardol. What do you think of JaMycal Hasty?
I think he's pretty good. He's a beast of a player. He's fun to watch. He can run fast. I mean, he does everything really well in the field. I mean, what have you seen in Hasty that just show that his game is improving every year and he's proving it on the field as we speak.
Man, you sound like you sound like a coach. That sounds like a coach answer right there. If you ask a coach a question, you ask him how a guy's doing, and he just rambles off a bunch of positivities. That was you right there. That was a good response, man.
Yeah.
Real quick, I'm going to ask you about one more player before this will be our last one.
Yeah.
What did you think of? Because this is for our friend from Wales. What did you think of Josh Hockett's performance on Saturday night? The fullback, number 40.
I haven't seen how he plays, but I have to watch some videos of him break down his highlights because I haven't seen the guy play. But he's a new guy. I mean, I have to see his highlights. I have to go on YouTube and click on his name and just kind of watch through some game film of him and see how watch him and see.
Okay.
But the last question is what are your thoughts of the 49ers re-signing tight end Ross Dwelley and safety Marcel Harris to both 1-year extensions?
Well, Ross is the boss, so that's a good one, and I think that Marcel Harris is a big special teams guy for him. So it's going to be interesting to see where he fits or if he makes this roster because it doesn't seem like he's necessarily in their plans at linebacker. I don't see how he becomes like their fourth or fifth linebacker uh, right now based off some of the things that they're doing. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with Marcel Harris.
But I really like coming on your show and just sharing my knowledge of various sports, the Giants, the 49ers, basically every single thing. But I'll try and hop on next time you're live. But I really love coming on. I mean,
All
I'm
right.
really excited. Anytime you can get me on the show, it's an honor.
Yeah, I like having you on, Shardal. You're a good dude. I like all
Yeah.
your questions. Let's keep those up. Get them a little bit more tight, a little bit more focused for next week, and let's see if you can match Trey Lance with some improvement going into week 2.
But I'll see you next time, Jack.
All right. Thank you, Shardal. Have a good night.
See
Good
ya.
day. Bye.
See ya.
That's the great Shardal. I think the question count got up to about 30, 31, right in the ballpark. That was really good. Nice, concise, like Curtis says. That was a nice, concise call right there. Uh, and Chardall's great though. Chardall is one of those guys. He comes out here, he's firing questions, and uh, my favorites are when he starts talking talking baseball or hockey or I'm surprised we didn't get into Steph Curry because Chardall's a big Steph Curry head. He loves Steph Curry. I love Steph Curry too. So can't wait to have Chardall come on again. Hopefully next week when we can do this. So let's move along. This guy's always on our show too. This guy, I love his glasses. That's part of the reason why I let him on the show. Hey, how you doing, Ryan?
What up?
Not much. How's it going?
Shardal forgot to plug his channel. Everybody go out there
Oh,
and subscribe to Shardal Gupta.
there you
Also,
go.
Amin the Dream. Let's get Amin up there too.
That's right. Those guys are some of the fun ones on this platform, and they're growing, and it's great stuff.
So I wanted to show Gavin the scenery. I don't know if he could see it,
Oh no,
but there's the
doing
lake
scenery
right
today.
there. And then if you see that tree with the top cut off right there, that's
Yeah,
where bald eagles like to nest.
yeah. It looks like a good spot for them since it's flat.
Oh man.
So what's going on? What's your takeaway from 49ers games, or what is it that's on your mind?
Well, I saw. Oh,
Oh,
we didn't run any like outside zone at all really in the preseason game. And I'm wondering is what you're seeing in practice, is it all power?
no, no.
Okay.
You're gonna see there was some out there were I think there was some outside zone that was run last week. I'm pretty sure there was. Um, I don't have time to look at my notes, but I'm pretty sure there was a few of those. They didn't run any of their zone read concepts or anything like that, which is we don't with the running with the quarterback. Um, but it was week 1 of the preseason. They came out pretty vanilla, just running basic stuff, and their coaching point was to just get these guys on the field and see if they could watch them compete. So it's
Gotcha.
coming. It's coming. They're definitely running outside zone. They ran the heck out of it yesterday, and um,
See, that was kind of scaring me because I'm like, they're trying to, do the power because it works better with the read option. And I'm like, but are we going away from our bread and butter? Like,
uh,
like,
oh no, there was a few plays yesterday where they ran it. Wayne Gallman did a really nice job of it yesterday a couple of
oh,
times, and
good.
so did all the backs look really good in practice. So it's going to be interesting to see if that translates over into the games. It didn't in week 1, but we'll see if it does here in week 2 of the preseason.
So, do you think that, oh, geez, what's his name? Um, Not Hasty, but Elijah Mitchell. Do you think he's going to get on the injured reserve like Grant was predicting
I
for the
think that's
year?
I think that's a pretty good prediction. Um,
Because Hasty won't make it past waivers.
yeah, he had mentioned that one to me yesterday that he was thinking that, and that does make sense because there's well, Hasty, Mitchell's not going to be able to practice again really until the end of the preseason. He's 2 to 3 weeks, I think, or something like that. So he's probably going to be a guy that they'll have to put on IR. And it's going to be interesting to see what they do because they do have Jeff Wilson Jr. It's going to be coming off at some point down the road. So I think their thought is probably that it'd be better to go ahead and just stash Mitchell for the year. Go ahead and let Hasty take that fourth running back spot if that's what they decide to do, and then move on. Maybe move on from him, or see if he can clear waivers and get back to the practice squad during the season once Wilson is back and healthy.
Gotcha.
The other thing, real quick too,
yeah,
just something else to think about, and this doesn't have to do with the running backs, but when you're thinking about how this roster is going to be constructed, now that Josh Rosen's gone, it's going to be Lance, Garoppolo, and I'd bet you that they take Sudfeld and he doesn't end up on the active roster, that he ends up on the practice squad. And I think that's part of the reason why he's the one that they chose to keep there.
Whose spot do you think Hockett's going to take? Because I don't think they can put him on the practice squad. I think he'll be claimed in a second.
I don't know. I don't think they're going to keep two fullbacks. That would seem interesting to me. I think with that extra roster spot, you're probably going to be looking at maybe another offensive lineman. Instead of carrying 8, they carry 9. If that's what they do, if they take two quarterbacks, it gives them another roster spot, which is either probably going to be an offensive lineman
or a wide receiver.
No, not necessarily. I think they can still keep 6 wide receivers. I don't think that they really want to keep 7 of those.
Gotcha.
I'm thinking it might be what was I thinking? I was thinking maybe linebacker or defensive back. That's what it was.
Gotcha. So they're just gonna try and sneak him onto the practice squad, you think?
Josh Hockett, most likely, yes.
I think he's gone if we do that. And I don't want to see him gone. He's a nice insurance policy for use check.
Yeah.
And so talking about dual quarterback teams, Juwan Jennings used to be a high school quarterback.
Yes.
Now, I kind of drew up a play in my head earlier today. I was thinking you run a couple screen passes out to him, probably like 2, out to the side, and you only bring him in for those screen passes, right? And the third time, everybody's thinking it's going to be a screen pass, and then you have thinking like a tight end or use check go in motion across the field to that same side, and right when it's hiked, the tight end or the fullback pretends like they're blocking in the secondary, moving up to the next level, and then make a cut, and then ball right over the top as all the defensive players are trying to crash to the screen pass.
Yeah, I could see that because there was one of the screen throws that they ran on Saturday night when I think it was the first one when he threw it to the left side of the field. You can see on the top of the screen. I'm not sure if it was a tight end or a running back running out, like they're running kind of like a wheel up the sideline, where you could see that possibly being a throw to him, and then having him launch it down, across the field.
Yeah, I was thinking that might be a sexy play.
Maybe, yeah.
Kyle, if you're watching,
there you go. See, this isn't just this is full service right here. This is almost, we don't do I don't have a 49er quality control show, but this is even better because we got the fans giving you their quality control information.
Right. And use the jumbo more. Don't put in an extra tight end, put in an extra lineman. Let's move some bodies.
There you go. I know you like that. You like the physical football, right?
Oh yeah, man. That's why I'm always talking about the run game.
There you go. There you go. I like the run game. I like to see runs on big plays on the ground. Those are always sexy to me too, because there's just so much that goes into it. They're fun to see.
And when you're a defensive player and you keep getting moved off your spot and keep getting dominated like that, it's very disheartening. And like, you don't even want to get down in your stance again because you know it's going to happen.
Yeah. Right.
Well, that's all I got, sir.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you showing me the lush background there in
oh, did you see the lake, right? Though?
No, I can't see the lake. You said there was a lake out there. All I see is trees.
Oh yeah, it's kind of hard to see in between, but there's a nice big lake out there. In fact, it's called Big Lake.
There you go. You got a big lake out there named Big Lake. That's nice.
Yep.
There you go. Awesome, man. Well, thanks for calling in, and you've always been on these shows with me, so I appreciate you taking the time and doing it a little bit earlier today. I thought you might have said that you weren't sure if you were going to make it, but I'm glad you made it.
Oh yeah. No, I found time.
There you
Oh,
go.
hey, shout out for 1,800 subscribers, bro. You've been making
Oh.
some moves.
That was pretty wild. Yeah, that was a crazy week last week
Heck
or so.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
for
always
sure.
take time for the family. This
that's
ain't all worth it. Yeah.
That's for sure. That's for sure. All right, Ryan. You have a good rest of your day and evening. Okay.
Have a good one, sir.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. So for the guys over in the private chat, I need you guys to settle down over there, or I might just have to drop the hammer on you. But I'm gonna. Gavin, you're on now. How you doing, man?
What's going on, Jack? How are you, buddy?
I'm good.
Yeah. I'm sorry,
What's
I'm
up?
just laughing. It's nothing to do with me, that. Right? What I on that chat. Right, anyway, right, here's my first question, Jack. Right, thoughts? What's your thoughts on what we saw Josh Hockett in the Chiefs preseason game? What was your thoughts of what we saw of him?
I really like Hockett. I think he's a good player. If the 49ers hadn't just given all that money to Kyle Juszczyk, I would have been perfectly fine with them using him as their fullback this year. In fact, I thought that there was a good possibility that they move on from Juszczyk, and I wouldn't have had any issue with it at all.
Yeah, I got you.
But I thought he played well.
Yeah, I'm pretty worried. Like, if what Ryan said, if we put him on the practice squad, I think somebody's going to snap him up. Do you mean? I know with fullbacks ain't exactly sought after, but I think you'll fit somewhere. You mean in like a Taysom Hill role? Definitely think you'll fit somewhere like that.
Well, the only thing is, there's not very many teams that use fullbacks in the NFL anymore.
Yeah,
so that's kind of a you'd have to worry about if you cut them. I think you're kind of limited to maybe New York, to the Jets, or to the Packers. Seattle could be a possibility because Seattle runs the 49ers type of scheme.
Yeah.
So there's definitely some teams that could be on the lookout for that type of a role. But something tells me that that's the direction the 49ers are going to move with that.
What about your thoughts on Simba Webster?
He was electric, right? He was kind of electrifying.
Yeah.
He kind of lit the place up with that long kickoff return, and really good run on the screen.
Did you see the block by Josh Hockett on one of his runs? On one of his
you liked
plays?
that, didn't you? On the sweep, right?
I like a good block. Yeah.
Yeah. No,
he smashed him.
Yeah, no, that was a great lead block, and
Yeah.
he played good. With Webster, he's struggled to hold on to the ball during his time with the Rams, so that's the one downside that you get. But the 49ers are in deep need of somebody that can return kickoffs. They just need some. Poor Richie James. He can't catch the ball when Trey Lance throws it to him, and he can't return the ball past 20-yard line. It's almost like there's a wall there that he runs into every time.
I don't think Richie James makes the team now after the Simba Webster did. I don't. Right, what did you see in Mike McGlinchey, right, in the game? Has he improved enough, right, so that he could be mediocre this season?
Yeah, no, I think that if you go back and you watch the film breakdown that I did this morning, there's some really good pass blocking by Mike McGlinchey. The first play of the game for Lance, not the first play of the game, maybe it was the first play of the game. Part of the reason that for Lance, and part of the reason Lance has that lane to scramble off his right, to the right side, is that McGlinchey's taken that guy and he's stood him up and driven that guy so far out of the play. There's this huge amount of grass between the right guard and McGlinchey, and he just did a great job there. And he's a guy who, he's added some weight, and from everything I've seen, he looked really good on Saturday, and he's been looking good in practice. I just wish it'd be fun to see him actually get challenged during the one-on-one drills that they do with the linemen. When they do offense and defense.
Yeah.
They for whatever reason. Yeah, because for whatever reason, every time it gets to be his turn, they've got him going up against Darian Daniels or somebody like that. It's never and then the next poor guy, Tom Compton, he's got Arden Key or Jordan Reed or Samson Ebicom or whatever. One of the top rushers. So.
Yeah. I got it. Right then, right, last question then, right, and this is a completely serious question now, right in the end. I want your honest opinion now, Jack, right in the end. Serious now question, right? Deadly, right? Who would win in an arm wrestling competition? Kyle Juszczyk or Josh the Rock Hockett?
who'd win a arm wrestling competition? I think that would be. I'm gonna say Josh Hockett. I think it would be. I think it would be a close battle back and forth between the two. Going left and right, and then I think Hockett would just take it and he'd just wrap his hands and go over the top and slam that thing down.
That's smash him down. Yes. Like what about a ping pong game? Who wins the ping pong game?
Oh, between the two of them?
Yeah.
Between those two, that's gonna be Kyle Juszczyk because he's got the quicker feet.
Yeah.
So he's gonna be able to bounce back and forth. So he's gonna be able to win that way.
Show the young one what it's all about. Like then, Jack, like that's all I want to ask you. You've been an absolute legend. Like, and I just want to give a shout out to Shardal Gupta as well. Give Shardal's channel a shout out. Do you mean? But yeah, thank you very much for putting me on the show. It was an absolute privilege, right, Jack? I won't take up no more of your time. Thank you very much. Good night, buddy.
Hey, I'm glad you're able to get on, and it wasn't usually 2:00 in the morning for you.
Yeah,
or whatever.
yeah, much better for me to see. Like, and thank you so much. Like, and right, I love you. Like, bye, Jack.
Yep. All right. Thank you. Have a good one, Gavin.
I know. Bye.
Bye. All right. So, hey, Texas Niner, I see what you're doing over there. You stay right there. I got that handled. We do have one of the cool things about this chat feature is I have the ability to put some folks on timeout every once in a while, and I'm almost got there in the private section. You guys don't get to see those, but yeah. So anyway, hang with us here. We still got about 45 minutes to go, and right now I've got 4 more callers on the line, and so let's jump to the next guy. Piner, how you doing tonight or today, this afternoon?
Yo, my bad. Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Let me see. I don't know why I haven't echo. Okay.
You're just a red dot on my screen.
Okay. Yeah. No. I always change. I don't know why people kept saying that that's a new thing. I've been doing that. Like every year I do this. I change it to red during the season and then I change it to brown after the season. I don't know why I do it. It's a scientific thing. But yeah. Yeah. So pretty much, I wanted to, oh damn, ice cream, man. But either way, I wanted to ask you a question.
49ers.
I want to ask you a question,
not
right?
Ice cream man.
The question was about Trey and him being a starter week 1 and all these things. But I realized that Jesse, whenever I was waiting, that you guys are going to have a show, and I'm pretty sure 9 out of 10, you guys are probably going to talk about it. So instead of doing that, will you guys?
Well, tomorrow night we have Coach Sean McAvoy on. That's the quarterback coach that Trey Lance worked with during the off season before when North Dakota State was shut down. He worked with him then, went back and worked with him after his pro days and things like that, and then he worked with him again after OTAs during that 40-day period. So we're going to have him on. I'm not sure how much we're going to get into it. I know Jesse and I got into quite a back and forth yesterday on Twitter yesterday morning about some things. So I'm not sure how much time we're going to have to really get into our feelings on that subject.
Okay. Well, I think the question was because I asked Raymond Martinez about this question. Do you think that if Trey Lance was to be perfect for all of practice, for the rest of practice during the preseason and the preseason games, he just looks beyond perfect? Do you think there's a chance that he could start week 1 and Jimmy's not here? Or do you think it's still not a possibility at this point because of Kyle and the politics of football and that contract money that Jimmy has?
I think that there's a possibility of him maybe getting the starting job week 1, but if he's going to do that, he's got to play lights out. He can't play the way that he played on Saturday and expect to beat out Garoppolo at this point. And the reason is there's just too many mistakes.
Yeah. Whenever I watch that game, obviously everything's not his fault, but you do see some problems that needs to be addressed. I'm glad that the people that do like Trey Lance, I would say the majority of the people that are on the Trey Lance train, I think that we're not just Trey Lance fans for the sake of hating Jimmy. I think that we're all Trey Lance fans because we want not to we want to critique the quarterback to be perfect. If Fields was right there, if Mac Jones was right there, whoever it was that was going to be playing those 30 snaps, I think that no matter who it was, we have to make sure we hold them to a high standard. And I'm just glad that for the most part, I see a lot of people pointing out that there are some problems. What I'm not liking is some people are being too much of a fan of Lance, and I'm not gonna sit here and say that that's the majority of everybody, but I think there is a small amount of percentage I see on Twitter that deny that Lance has any problems, and I hate that they keep pointing out that no, it's Kyle Shanahan this, Kyle Shanahan that, but I think it's a little bit of both, and I don't think that there's any problem with saying that. And as far as the team, I want to make a statement here and now. That way, people can stop talking. Not necessarily stop talking about it, but just everybody knows what I'm thinking. First of all, Hurd doesn't deserve a spot on this team. I don't care if he's healthy. I think that Hurd, sure, he can come out, but I guarantee you guys, if he plays week 1, somewhere down the line, he's going to get hurt. And I think that there's way more receivers on this team right now that deserves a spot over Hurd, Richie James right now. And as far as Sanu being the third string receiver or whatever that is, he better look impressive if he's going to be that third string receiver, because it looks like Sherfield wants a spot, and it sure looks like Webster deserves a spot with his returning ability. And I think that it's not fair to not give those guys chances, all because of what? Because Kyle Shanahan doesn't want to look like he had another draft bust because of Hurd. And then what? Because what? Richie James is another bust in some sense too. It's like, nah, dude, Richie and Hurd, to me, I'm done wasting my time on these guys. These guys need to pack their bags and they need to go. I'm tired of wasting my time with them because there's other people that want to help out for this team and for themselves afterwards. And as far as the line goes, could we all say that Aaron Banks was a push? Like that, not a push. That was a reach, in my opinion, for Aaron Banks. I think that he's not going to do good this season. I'm not going to sit here and say he's a bust, but I think this season he has a lot to work on, and I see him being a problem for the rest of the year. I don't necessarily think he's a bust, though. I think that next year he'll come back way better. I think for him this season is too late for him. Not to say that he can't do something in the playoff run if Brunskill gets hurt or something, but I'm not wasting my time with Aaron Banks. Wait for him, guys. Week 1 he'll be ready. Week 2 he'll be ready. Week 3, no. First of all, Aaron Banks needs. I'm not going to be cuss on this show because Jesse told me to not cuss, and I'm sorry if I ever did cuss on your show before. But yeah, I'm done wasting my time with a lot of these guys on the team. I think a lot, and then please, guys, for Gutierrez, is it Gutierrez, right? The Mexican lineman.
Yes.
Okay, for him, I'm not giving up on him, but I'm certainly not going to buy the fact that this guy's ever going to be a starter this year either. I get it that we want him to be a starter, and it's cool that he's coming from Mexico and everything. But who was that? I think Jesse Sanchez wrote an article about it on SI, and I want to say that he made perfect sense when he was talking about it. So I don't know. There's a lot of players that are on this team right now that are wasting a lot of time, in my opinion. I think that we need to slow it down with the Trey Lance train that I'm starting to see more and more that nothing's his fault. And I really did want to see what you and Jesse were going to talk about because I only seen a glimpse of that on Twitter. But I love it when you guys are arguing because you guys are very articulate and everything,
Yeah, and I'm not sure if we'll have time to get into that tomorrow, but I will say I agree with you on this Lance stuff, and it's one thing if you're going to be on 49ers Twitter and you're going to give Jimmy Garoppolo fans, like the guys that are hardcore Jimmy Garoppolo fans, a hard time about that. It's one thing if you're going to do that, but then when you turn around and you do the same thing and you're making the same excuses for Trey Lance, that's not okay. I think that's something that should be, and I saw quite a bit of that I've seen quite a bit of that since Sunday because Saturday night I was too busy to really pay attention to Twitter. I saw a ton of that on Sunday, saw it, Monday and Tuesday as well. And it's just, that's part of why, if you go and you watch that game, you can judge Trey Lance just as harshly as you judge Jimmy Garoppolo. And they're playing, And the reason for that, I understand Trey Lance is a rookie, but he's fighting for that same job as Jimmy Garoppolo. So if he's not as good or better than Garoppolo, then why do you put him on the field? He's got to be at that same level. They've got to be judged at the same level and expected to play at the same level.
Well, do you think that it helps Trey being with that battle line at all, and for him not to be rolling out? Do you think it benefits him more? Not that playing time doesn't benefit him, but do you think it benefits him more by putting him in that predicament than for him to be with the starting O-line?
No, I feel, and I wrote this last week. I had an article that came out. I think it was.
I need to read it.
I think it was last week or over the weekend. I don't remember when I wrote it, to be honest with you. I think it was last week now, where I said that he needs to start getting reps with the first team. Excuse me. They need to somehow figure a way that they can split these reps between Garoppolo and Lance, especially if you're going to plan on using Lance during the regular season, as they've said. Kyle Shanahan has said Trey Lance is going to play this season. You've got to start giving him reps with the ones then. And it's got to be in a situation where when you give him those reps with the one offensive line, it's not just to hand the ball off, because that's all he's done so far. Every time he's played behind that starting offensive line, he's running the same, not the same play, but he's running, he's handing the ball off to somebody or he's keeping it himself. He's not throwing the ball. At the same time, even when he's been working with the twos along the offensive line, he's had those guys, those starters, as far as Ayuk and Kittle and Samuel and those guys, as weapons on the outside. But so he's gotten some work with them, but he needs to work with that full unit, and they need to start to gel that. I really thought that'd be happening next week, but I just yesterday found out that the media is still going to be there through next Thursday. That's per the NFL rules. They have to allow media there until the 26th. So it'll be interesting to see if we see any of that before week 3 of the preseason. Something tells me that's going to be something. I was thinking it would be once, after week 2, after the media was gone, after they left San Diego. Because that's where I know they're the Los Angeles Chargers, but they're practicing down in the San Diego area. And then now that that's not the case, it's going to be. I would say it's probably more of like that's going to come up around, that bye week of between the last preseason game and week 1, because that's one of the changes with the whole schedule. Now they get that 2 week deal.
So I want to give the other caller some time. So I just want to say this for me leaving. Everybody, it's your guys' responsibility, the media's responsibility, Jack's, Jesse's, everybody's responsibility to hold everybody accountable the right way. Don't be on anybody's train. Don't do that. When you guys do that, you guys lose credibility. And not only that, it just, I don't even know how to explain it. It's just not good for all of us B-Niner fans. If Trey does bad, you got to call it out. But let's make no mistake, Kyle is a part of that too. And one more thing, Michael Miller, I'm not going to trash talk you. No. I just wanted to tell him, no. No, I'm not trash talking him, because I wanted to tell him, listen, we're not going to bag on you or anything. We're a fan of you. I like watching you, Michael Miller. You're entertaining. But you're not that important. And thank you, Jack, for everything on the show. And everybody, please make good points. We're not here to waste our time. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. All right. I'm just going to send out a little note. Let's try to keep the calls to what we're doing here to the 49ers and not our fellow 49er faithful, especially when it comes to if we're going to have any kind of beef. That's not what this is about. I understand we can come on here if we want and be all mad and angry about Trey Lance. You can come on here and tell me I'm full of crap. I don't care about that. We've had that in the past with John, remember? So, but that's as far as the other stuff between you guys. Let's keep that off, because I want to make sure everybody feels comfortable to come in here and throw out their opinion, and whether they like it or not. Let's just try to keep this be as much of a positive amongst the fan group as we can. We can go ahead and rip the team as much as we want, but let's keep this positive between us. And this is a guy that I've never seen before. So,
how's it going?
It's good. How are you doing? Is it
good.
Basher?
Bashar.
Bashar.
Yeah, 2 8. How you doing, man? I
I'm
finally
good.
get to
Hey,
talk to you. I've been
you got a
tweeting
heck
you
of
sometimes.
a setup right there.
Yeah, I have my own channel, 49er Minded. So I've been started it back in June, and I have guests on there from time to time. And if you want to be a guest, you can always let me know on my Twitter, or I would love
Yeah,
to have you on. It'd be great.
yeah. Just hit me up.
Without a doubt. I've been watching your show a lot. I messaged you on, so I commented on some of your tweets sometimes. I was like, hey, when's the Jack Hammer calling on show going to start again? I want to get on there. And it's always at the, I remember one night you were going to do it and then something happened. And it's just, I'm just excited to finally be on here. That's all I got to say because I love watching your videos.
Yeah, no, I'm great. No, it's great to have you on and try to get us to. It's one of the cool parts about doing this show compared to some of the other things that I do is I can come on here and actually talk to people. The tweets and all that kind of stuff sometimes get a little make it a little bit tougher because you're not sure of what the direction that somebody might be taking it in, right? Because you don't hear the inflection in the voice. You're just reading the words, and that's really easy to read something on a tweet and be like, and then we put our own spin on it because of where we are and what our thoughts are. So I love doing the show, getting you guys on here and talking. So what are your some of your things that you want to talk about with the 49ers?
Yeah, I was at the game. I was curious. Were you at the game as well, or?
Yeah, I'm fortunately I'm with the Santa Rosa Press Democrat now.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Inside the 49ers blog over there, and so as a result of that, I have a full media credential this year. So yeah, I was up I get to go to the press box during the game. So
awesome. Are you going to be there for the joint practices or?
I'm not down. I'm not doing any of the traveling. But yeah, and I do stuff. I have some other things that I do as well. So unfortunately, I'm not able to be down there the next couple of days. Would have been great to do that, but we got plenty of our 49er guys are down there, and Grant will be down there, and some of the guys from 49ers Gold Mine will be down there in the stands watching that. So yeah, I'll be there to be reporting it as much as I can.
Yeah, so you alluded to Trey Lance making mistakes. I know I didn't watch every single thing you put on your Twitter. I know you put some videos explaining why these certain plays were mistakes, and we can all appreciate that. And as much as I want to see Trey Lance succeed, and as much as I want him to be the starter, as much as I'm rooting for him, I can definitely look at certain things as reality as well. Of course, I'm okay for that. I know now what I want to go back to is you and all the other beat writers in practice. We're just hooting and hollering over how great he looked. And were these things a surprise to you when you're saying he's making these mistakes in that past game, or was it somewhat surprising because you've been watching him all throughout practice these past few weeks, right?
Yeah, there were some things that were surprising. I mean, it's one of the things that's different is when you're watching the film, it's different than when you're watching it live. I'm not don't have the ability to see the full field from the sideline view. If I'm in the end zone view, I can really see the field really well and kind of be able to see what I think should have happened. But when you're sitting on the sideline up at where the press box is, or think about it sitting between the 10 and the goal lines, right? It's a little bit harder to see the whole field even from up high like we are. Kind of following the ball a little more. So I didn't realize. I saw him. I was watching Lance and I saw the play action and I saw the deep drop, and then my eyes immediately went downfield to see what was happening. But by the time my eyes got downfield, the ball was already out. And you see, like I'm talking about like the deep throw, for example.
Yeah, the
right?
sure field play. Yeah.
Or on that first on the first one, I'm looking deep. I don't see anybody deep, and then I see Lance scrambling and he hits it. So. For my original view on that was a really nice play, and it still is a nice play. It's the fact that he blew the read, that's a problem. But he showed the athleticism to make up for blowing the read, and then hitting his receiver, and it would have been a nice gain if Ayuk catches the ball. So it's a kind of a catch-22, right? I'm gonna make sure that it's known that he blew his reads, and that's a concern.
Yeah.
At the same time, I think it's important to note that his athleticism showed off, and he made that play. And that's what you see in practice a lot too, right? You see that kind of stuff happening in practice quite a bit, where he's moving around, hitting guys. And one thing that I'll say about Trey Lance is if people don't already know this about it, or based off you haven't really watched all of my breakdowns on YouTube with him, is this is a guy who doesn't want to take off running. He's not like maybe not like Colin Kaepernick, where Colin Kaepernick might hit his back foot and take off sprinting down the sideline or what have you, or up the middle. This is a guy that's going to he's going to sit there as long as he can before he takes off. It really has to break down before he decides to get out of the pocket and run. So um, don't expect him to be a guy that's going to just be running around like a Russell Wilson. I don't see him as that kind of player.
But when I was watching this film in college, I did see those Russell Wilson type things. But maybe it's because somebody's diving at him, and then he starts going. And on that Ayuk play that he dropped, I saw this huge gap, and I thought, oh wow, Lance is just gonna go straight forward and run it. But no, he didn't. He went for the throw, which I do prefer for him to go for the throw. Unfortunately, Ayuk usually catches everything. That one point in time, for whatever reason, didn't catch it. Maybe it was too hard for him. I don't know.
Yeah, no, well, the I think the reason why you dropped it was there's a Nick Sorensen is out there 49, and he kind of starts to kind of flash across. Not like he doesn't go across the face of Ayuk, but he kind of flashes in front of him, and I think he catches his eye, and I think that causes Ayuk to turn his head just enough where the ball hits his hands and he drops it.
One more thing before I go. I don't have a long list of questions like Chardal does. I come on here thinking I'm empty-handed. I'm not gonna have any questions for you because I'm just so happy to be here. But shout out to Chardal. I've been on the stream before. Subscribe to his YouTube channel, and also shout out to Gavin, who was on earlier. I had him on as a special guest on my show. I nicknamed him Niner McGregor because he's got that Conor McGregor type energy and personality. Definitely watch my interview with him if you haven't had a chance to yet. One more thing. People were arguing with me yesterday. One guy was yelling off the top of his lungs on some voice chat I was on, saying it was stupid to believe that Trey Lance was told not to run and he just sat there like a duck and should have ran. And when he was about to, he's talking about when he on the plays he got sacked. Sure. What do you think? Do you think Shanahan really told him not to run or just sit there or what?
No, I don't think he told him not to run. I just think that's a lot of that is the way that Trey Lance plays the game. He's not going to look to run. And like I think it was when I was on with a Korean 49er at the beginning of the show, we kind of went through the 4 sacks, and 2 of them are on Lance, and 2 of them are on Lance for not getting the ball out early enough against blitzes, and then 2 of them are really nice plays by, one of them's a really good get off and whatever. We went through them all, but no, I don't think he was told not to run. They just didn't run really any bootlegs for him. The first one was a design. The first bootleg for him, which was the touchdown to Sherfield, that was a design play. Everything about that play was designed. They knew going into that play was called to go deep to Sherfield. And that's why when I hear people talk about, oh yeah, Garoppolo would have just thrown the ball to Ayuk and been happy with it. No, he wouldn't have. The play call was to go to Trent Sherfield. That was the way that they ran that. Everything about that play was talked about during their they didn't really do an install, but during their pregame walkthrough that they did, and Sherfield mentioned that himself, where he's like, hey, I knew the ball was coming to me. I knew that on Friday night when we walked through this at the hotel. Okay. So that makes that really exciting play for me. Not quite as exciting because I know that was a play that was completely designed by Shanahan. You got to give credit to Lance for executing it, obviously. But at the same time, it wasn't like he went out, saw the open receiver, and then decided to go deep. The call was to go deep the entire way.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Well, I'll say this. It's a pleasure being on here. Shout out to all the people in the chat who I haven't shouted out. But you guys know me. I talk to you guys all the time, and I love being on here. Hopefully we'll talk again in the future, Jack.
Definitely. And then if you want me to come on your channel, just DM me, and we'll set some.
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt, man. Take care.
All right.
We'll do.
Yeah. Have a good day.
You too.
All right, so we're getting down. I got 3 callers. We got about 25 minutes left, so let's work our way through these. I got Swan Song on the line. How you doing, Swan?
What's up, Jack? How's it going? Thanks for taking my call. So, yeah, I have a couple of things to say. One, we went to back and forth on the Twitter, and after watching some of the film breakdown that you had and some of the other people had, I mean, I already knew when I watched the game that he was struggling, right? I just didn't know what it was, right? When some of those things were illustrated, it was really frustrating for me to see. It makes me concerned, right? Not overly concerned, but concerned that, some of those plays, it was obvious that the checkdown's right there. Like it's right there, and some of the things that he didn't see of like Kansas City bringing in more rushers than we had blockers. That was that I don't know what else he could be thinking there. So I understand he hasn't played in 18 months, so I get that. And I am looking forward to if some of these things get cleaned up in the next couple of weeks, like especially this coming weekend.
Mhm.
It's funny that how a preseason game could mean so much right now. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him, because we all know that, like I said, like the narrative throughout is like, this kid is, he can process and do all these things. And yes, he shows that he could do that, but like whether it was deer headlights at that moment or if he's trying to hit a home run, I'm not sure. But it's plain to see that those checkdowns, at least 2 of them, should have been made, right? But so another thing, that this is totally off, talking about quarterbacks or anything, but I was thinking this earlier today, is that I'm not sure. Like I think we might miss Sherman this year. Not so much as a player, but as a leader. I think one of the great things that he did in 2019 is how he handled the press, and kind of, you could tell that there was a message that he probably talked to all the players of, like, hey, this is what we should be thinking. Like, kind of like this leadership, like, hey, I've been a part of, one Super Bowl team and another team that should have had it, right? And I think that was really big. I'm looking down the lineup, and I mean, George Kittle's kind of a jokester. I know he's a leader, but he's kind of a jokester. The only other person that comes to mind would be Fred Warner. But I don't see Fred Warner having the leadership savvy that like a Sherman brings. You know what I mean? And I don't see anyone else after that. It's not Jimmy. It's not Trent Williams. It better not be Mike McGlinchey. So that's some of the things that I'm concerned. Of course, they have the coaches and things like that, but that there needs to be a strong presence in like a leadership voice in the locker room that I just don't see it in this team. And hopefully someone emerges. It's like there's always room for that. So I'm going to be paying attention to that as well. So I don't know. What do you think? Who do you think could be that guy?
Well, now that I think Warner's one of them for sure. Warner's definitely one of the leaders on the defensive side and of the team. Also on the defensive side, another leader, I think, now that Sherman's gone, I think Jimmy Ward's stepping up into that leadership role. There was, we got to talk to both of the rookies, Ambry Thomas and Diamador Lenore, last week on Thursday, I believe it was, and they both talked about how they struggled when they first got to Santa Clara, just kind of figuring out everything where they were supposed to go. And it was Jimmy Ward that took over and kind of helped get them set up and get them on the right track and get them going. So I think that's the big one there.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
So yeah, and okay, so I'll just double back to the good things that I saw with Lance on that first pass attempt. Yeah, I think he definitely could have had Sherfield looking back at it. I think coming from the end zone view, when I saw it first, I saw him clutch, like hitch. And I thought, okay, you know what? Sherfield's not even ready to make this catch, right? Because he's still running his route. So he hitched, and then I saw 90 flash, 90 from KC flash. And I think that's when he's like, okay, I'm not going there. But looking at it from the side view, it didn't look like that. It looked like he could have had Sherfield. Like one split second, he could have had Sherfield. If he fired it off, he probably could have had him. But I did like him exploding out of the pocket, making that sweet pass to Ayuk. And God, I remember on Discord, it was just like, oh my God, I can't believe Ayuk chopped that pass. But, at first you're like, what's going on? But when you even look at the broadcast, you could see that the guy that was on Hockett or whoever he was on, he was, that rolled over, the Kansas City guy that rolled over, he flashed in front of Ayuk's, and it was kind of like the case of alligator arms, like it was kind of like, oh, maybe not. so that was fine. But on that play, what I really liked was, not that play, on the touchdown pass, right? I thought it was an impressive pass. I thought he hit him in stride. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure if Jimmy could have made that pass like as long as it was. I think there was a comparison put on Twitter, like that it was probably 12 to 15 yards more, counting arc and counting whatever. Let's just say Jimmy did it. But what I liked also was that he held the safety. Like, it wasn't like he was looking at Sherfield the whole time, right? He was looking left, right? He sold the play action. He was looking left, and then he pops his head and boom, throws it. That was cool to see. That was encouraging to see. Like,
Yeah, it was a good one. I don't know. It was an impressive throw. Don't get me wrong. It was an impressive play. I thought I saw Jimmy Garoppolo make the same play yesterday in camp. They ran on their move the ball period. They had to go 70 yards. They get to the 26-yard line. They run play action to the right. He boots out to his left. And he sets up and he throws back to the right side, and he hits Ayuk in the end zone for a touchdown. But he hits him in the back of the end zone, so it's about 35 yards down the field. The throw from Lance was 37 from the launch point to the catch, right? So pretty sure it was about 37.
I think it was more than that, but I mean, whatever. We're splitting hairs. I
No,
mean, it's good,
but it's the same play. And I think that Garoppolo. I understand the knock on Garoppolo. Garoppolo can hit the shot play at times. There's times when he struggles with it, but a lot of times he hits it. Last year, he struggled with it after his leg injury and stuff like that. But he usually hits the shot play. It's the throw down the sideline. It's the throw. Those kind of throws are the ones that he misses usually, right? Or the ones where it's just in the natural flow of the offense, he doesn't take the deep shots. And that's the difference between the two guys, is that you're going to get more downfield throws with Trey Lance. And we got to move on because we're running out of time, but you got to get more downfield throws with Lance, but at the same time as you're going to get that's, there's times when Lance has to realize that taking that shot down the field isn't the best route. It's okay if I hit the underneath guy. It's okay if I hit this check down guy right here and set us
another
up with,
day.
Yeah. And say, okay, well, I'm going to set us up with this. If I hit this guy, it's going to be 3rd and 2 instead of 3rd and 10 or a pick because I try to force it into somebody past the sticks, so that's the only thing there. He's just got to grow. And I think it's easier to pull that out of him than to stick it into him. You know what I mean? I think it's easier to make guys less aggressive than it is to get them aggressive enough.
I totally agree. And then, that last thing, always sneak. My kids are about the same age as yours. If you can sneak time away, always do it. Don't ever feel guilty about it.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah, definitely. All
Thanks,
right.
Jack.
Thanks. Have a good day.
You too.
All right. Real quick, I'm going to get to Michael, and I got Niner still over here, but there was a couple of comments that I wanted to read because they were good ones. They're definitely worth talking about, I thought. And the first one was this one here by Niner by Nature. Dude, it was Lance's first game after a year. Y'all tripping hard as ASF. We know what that stands for. And here's the deal for me. I'm going to explain why I'm feeling the way that I am about him after watching that. His last regular game at North Dakota State was the national championship in 2019. I know he played that one showcase game last year, but if you go back and you watch the film breakdown I did with Grant Cohn, it was in January. We did that game, and we were pretty hard on him in terms of some of the things that we said. But the things that I saw out of him on Saturday night were the same issues that I had with him when I watched that first film. Trey Lance does not like to throw the ball if he's got to get the ball up and over somebody. If he has a clear line of sight between him and the receiver, he's going to drill that thing in there. But if he's got to get any kind of arc over the ball to try to get it to that guy, 7 times out of 10, he's probably going to pass up the throw in order to find a different one. And that's what we saw on the first play of the game. You see that. You see him drop back. He's got the guy on the left, Sherfield, open, doesn't pull the trigger, turns to his right because he has a linebacker between him and the receiver. But if he throws it on time, there's plenty of room there. Turns, he's got Ayuk over to the right. He looks at him, same situation, almost exactly, doesn't pull the trigger, takes off running. The window opens up, and then he throws the ball. Lance said it himself in the post-game press conference that ball he shouldn't have had to run. He shouldn't have. He says that he felt like he should have thrown the ball to Ayuk. Okay, cool. He should have. If he felt like he should have thrown the ball to Ayuk, he should have thrown the ball to Sherfield because that's where his eyes were throughout the beginning of that play to begin with. So when I watch him, the things that I felt were struggles were things that I thought he struggled with the last time he played, and I don't see improvement from it. His throwing motion might be a little bit better or what have you, but some of his eye issues that's what I would call them are still there. And then Double B Studio says Shanahan needed to see Lance pocket reaction of when it collapses, and I think Trey learned from his first preseason game, and he will adjust by next game. But Jimmy may end up starting, and I agree with this as well. I think, and I don't have a problem with it, and I really like this whole comment because it speaks to what happened in the game. You're in a preseason game. You're not going into that game to win. You're looking to see who handles what. You're looking to see what can we improve on. You're looking to put these guys in situations that aren't going to necessarily give them wins all the time. He did it, for sure on that shot play touchdown throw, but it wasn't like and I don't think that was expected to be an 80-yard throw. I think he was expecting that to probably come from around the 35 or 40-yard line, I think is where he was expecting that play to come from, because he was expecting that first play to hit. He was expecting the next play to be that second down run that they ran. The third down kind of changes your play because you're backed up now. It's 3rd and 10. You got to get off the script a little bit. I think the script was to go have that deep shot come around the 50. Anyway, long story short, I agree with this take, and when it says that Jimmy's most likely going to be starting, I don't really think that that's going to be unless Trey Lance goes out and does what Double B here says, which is he learns and he makes the adjustments for the next game, and he comes out and he balls like crazy in week 2. I don't think there's any way that he steps over Garoppolo and becomes the starter week 1. Regardless of my thoughts on whether it should happen or not, I'm fine with either of these two guys. I think they're very similar. I do think that Garoppolo is ahead of him when it comes to situational football. When it comes to athleticism and playmaking ability, Lance has the edge there. But that's a great comment. Thank you for the $9.99 as well. I really appreciate that. Just so you guys know, also the Super Chat just started for me. I had that happen this morning. This is like the 3rd one, so it's fantastic. I'm super stoked about that, and that's a great comment too. So to throw that up there for $10, that's a heck of a comment and definitely worth it. So let's jump over to back to the callers. We got 2 of them here in about 10 minutes or so. I might be able to run a little over. But hey, Michael, how you doing?
Doing all right. Do you have any news on Trent Williams' knee?
No, well, I don't know if you saw the only thing that the last report was yesterday. They said that he had some knee swelling. And the only part of that whole thing where they said he had knee swelling, the only part that was concerning was then they followed that up with saying they're not sure if it was it related to him getting hit on the knee, the contact that he had the day before that caused him to leave practice on Tuesday.
Because I know at one point Kyle said that he was not worried about it, but then now knee swelling, it's very concerning.
Yeah, well, I think probably what it is it's probably one of those situations. We're 3 weeks away from the season, so take it easy. If it was week 1 and they were getting ready to play against the Detroit Lions, I think it's a different story. But with where we are, it's not that big. I don't think it's a problem there. And then, like I said, the only concern I have is when they say that it might have been from that. Hopefully, that's what it's from, or otherwise he's got a knee problem from somewhere else.
Yeah,
right. That's the problem.
It didn't sound too good. That all of a sudden out of the blue he's got a knee injury and swelling. Yeah,
exactly.
So, yeah. But other than that, I'm excited about Sunday to see Trey again. I hope he has a whole lot better wide receivers that will catch the balls that are actually thrown at him. I consider 4 misses because Richie James in the middle, alligator armed that. He didn't really try for it. I understand why. He was between 2 guys, but when you're fighting for a job, he should have reached for that ball and caught that ball, or at least attempted it and everything. Otherwise, there would have been 4 I consider it 4 incompletions in my book, being that he didn't go for that. But I'm glad they let go, or Josh Rosen asked for his release and they released him.
Yep.
That's a good thing. There's no need wasting more time with him. I don't think we're going to carry more than 2 quarterbacks on the roster anyway. So that would open up a position for another player. And also, as far as the running back that y'all were talking about, the one we had in the 6th round, or what, Mitchell?
Yeah, Elijah Mitchell.
Yeah, they could put him on the IR and bring him back at any time. So let's say we start him on the IR. being that it's still COVID out there, they could bring back unlimited players on and off the IR. So if one of the other running backs was to get injured, they just pull him off and then stick him right back on afterwards.
Gotcha.
So it's really no big deal on that. And can't they still hold 2 players on the practice squad and make them untouchable like it was last year?
There's something along those lines, yes.
So that would be good. You can also stash him on the practice squad then, or just put him. I think you could put him just like he did last year, put him directly on the practice squad and say, these 2 are on there untouchable. They don't go through the waiver wires, basically.
Yeah, I think there's even a way that they can keep 2 extra guys on the active roster. I don't remember how the.
I think one of them's a quarterback and one's a offensive lineman, right?
No, I don't know if it was position specific. I think it has to do with how you get them there. I don't think it can be a situation where they're on IR and then you bring them over and then you stash them you can't circumvent. I don't remember exactly how it is, so I probably shouldn't be talking about it since I don't know exactly the
yeah.
But I think there's a way where they can get more than one on there,
because there's got to be a way we can keep that punt returner, kick returner, Webster, I believe his name is. Is that the guy's name that we brought in from the Rams?
Yes, Simba.
Yeah, he's electrifying. There's no way in the world he can't make this roster as a kick returner, punt returner, and even doing some in arounds for us and stuff like that. I mean, he was probably the most exciting player on the team last game as there was anybody for what he did. I mean, we've never had a kick returner or punt returner that did what he did.
Yeah.
So.
No, he did really well in that one. I mean, Richie James Jr., let's not forget, he has returned kickoffs for touchdowns. I mean, he's made big plays, but it's just we haven't seen that
far and in between.
Well, we haven't seen it since 2019 because last year they didn't let him return kicks. They put McKinnon back there instead.
Yeah.
So whatever. But I hear you. No, Walker definitely had a good debut in front.
Is that his name Walker Webster?
No, it's Simba.
Webster.
Simba Webster. I'm getting them confused. I got too many W's. Yes, it's Webster.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Okay, well, I'll let you go. I just wanted to hear anything news on Trent Williams and everything. So.
Yeah, nothing new right now. Plus, they travel down to down south and they've got practice in Costa Mesa tomorrow. So with nothing going on today, everything's been pretty quiet so far. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, and no other injuries that we don't know about.
The only other one was Emmanuel Mosley with a hamstring injury.
Yeah, the hamstring. Yeah,
tight hammy. Yeah, so
wasn't high. That'd probably be week to week anyway, wouldn't it?
Yeah, probably. I think probably looking at a week to week kind of deal. I think he was at practice on Monday. So yeah, hopefully he'll be give him a little bit of rest and he'll be ready to go.
All right. Well, thank you.
All right. Thank you, man. Thank you for hanging out and coming back on with us. And I appreciate your call.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Have a good day.
You too.
All right. Perfect. We're getting down to the end. Got 5 minutes to go. And this is a new one that I haven't spoken with before. Niner Sickness. How you doing? Oh, I can't hear you. No worries. Really quick while we're waiting for the audio to work there. Double B bounces back again. He says, if Jalen Hurd makes the team, it'll be the equivalent of Tim Tebow making the team. LOL. Also look forward to your videos. Thank you very much. Yeah, the videos are fun. I appreciate it. I'm glad you like those. I agree on the Tebow thing to an extent, but Hurd's a guy who the difference is that they invested a draft pick in Hurd. It was a high one too. I think it was a third rounder. So that's part of the reason there. I think he's the guy that's going to start off on the practice squad before anything else happens. So, and then on my videos, one of the issues that I've had with my training camp videos, especially, is getting my volume to the right level. I keep forgetting to jack it up so you guys can hear me really good. So, I'm a rookie. I'm a rookie. I'm going through my rookie camp. So I'm going to make it better. I promise it'll be better once we get back. When I get there next week, those training camp videos will be better too. So, are you there, Niner? Can we hear you?
Yeah, can you hear me now, Jack?
Oh, there we go. There we go. All fixed.
Oh, I apologize about that. A little bit of
Nah,
technical
you're good.
difficulties. How you doing, brother?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I just wanted to come on here real quick, brother, just to let you know that I just started watching you not too long ago. You and Niles do your thing, and I've been watching Grant for a while, but I've been just started watching your YouTube channel, and just wanted to really give you praise, bro. You guys really bring it. I've learned so much from you guys, so I just truly appreciate you guys. I'm a content creator myself, so I appreciate other content creators when they do their thing. So you guys do an amazing job. You guys are fun to listen to.
Thank you. No, I really appreciate it. That's we try to have fun and we try to put it out there as much as we can. So I'm glad that you enjoy it. And as far as your jersey, you got the 56 jersey. Who's that for?
This is still Alexander. I got
okay.
I had it on for the day. I didn't plan to get on here, but I'm people collect things. I collect jerseys. I think I have every single player on the team right now's jersey, past and present. My wife hates it. In the closet is like I have more jersey than she does clothes, and that's not that's not normal.
Yeah, no, that's not normal, but that's pretty good. I like your setup there. You got a cool setup. You got that cool mic. That's your 49ers man cave on the wall right there, right? With some
yes, sir.
49er helmets. Oh, that's one of the things that I like watching these videos, because you guys all have better backgrounds than me. All I've got is a stinking white background. Every once in a while, I have the 49er banner behind me when I do it from the other room in my house that where I have that hanging. But I gotta get myself a little man cave like that. That's nice.
I've learned one thing. It's not really what you have behind you; it's what you're producing in front of you. If you're giving out good content, bro, people are gonna listen. But I hear you. Yeah, I have more to this side, but the camera's just facing this way. I invest a little bit in my setup. Like I said, I do my own content on YouTube, Niner Sickness, and I just love talking football, bro. I just love talking 49ers. I love talking to the viewers that call in. I take calls, but I didn't come on here for about me, but I just came on here real quick to really acknowledge you, bro, for the work you do, man. And I wanted to ask you real quick, what are your thoughts on D Ford? Do you think, I know every training camp he looks good until he starts playing week one, and then the truth comes out. Do you think there's a possibility that he might be able to be serviceable for us at all this year?
It sure seems that way. I mean, he was taking reps. He's done more in training camp than Nick Bosa has, right? I mean, he's actually taken live reps against other people, not just the block, not just a sled or the dummy bags, or when they're running drills and he's just slapping guys' hands away. But D Ford's actually been out there during team drills and actually run through stuff. So when it comes to that, I think we're going to get something out of D Ford. I don't know what. Anything that they get out of him is going to be a positive, right? Because you go back like 4 weeks ago before training camp started, and all of us figured that D Ford was the only reason he was on the team was because they were trying to get out from underneath the salary. So if they get anything out of him, it's a huge plus. And right now it looks like he's a guy that's going to be able to play starting week one.
Yeah, exactly. Even if I just see him coming in, and if he can come in third downs, third and longs, and just pin his ears back and go after the quarterback, would be good. And I think with Bosa, I think the Bosa brothers, man, I think that family, they're on their own timetable when it comes to coming back. I think he's fine. I think he's just being careful, and they're just kind of taking it easy with him. If I'm not mistaken, the year that he came on, 2019, he really didn't practice much, didn't play in preseason. We all saw, of course, he wasn't coming off an injury like this, but we all saw what he can do in 2019. So I think they'll ease him in. The only one player that I'm still disappointed in is Jalen Hurd. I'm no fault to his own. I know he's hurt, but I really wanted to see this kid do something for the 49ers. And at this point, it don't even look like he's going to make the team.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's crazy, because that, like I said, that last practice before the game on Thursday, he had 3 catches, which was a huge number for him, and then he's gone. He's just poof, into the thin air. So that's a tough one. And as far as Bosa goes, definitely they're working to ramp him up. From what I understand, they are expecting him to maybe take a little bit more of an active role in practice starting next week.
That's what I heard. Yes.
So that'll be something to keep an eye on. The media will be there until Thursday, so that'll hopefully I'll be able to catch some glimpses of him out on the field, actually going through and running those drills and running up against the other guys, because that'll be fun to see. And you're right, 100% correct. That's what they did with him in 2019. They were very slow bringing him along. He had different kind of injury, but the good part about, you never want to have any injury, but at least the injury was week 2 and gave him a long time to rehab. And so, I hope that he's, I hope for the 49ers sake and 49ers fans sake that he's able to be the guy that we saw in 2019.
Yeah, I hope so too, man. I definitely hope he can be disruptive like he was in 2019. I know your time is winding down, and I just kind of turned on YouTube and I see you on there taking calls. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to stop by. I was just talking to myself the other day about how your show, how you guys now do a great job in breaking things. I think his channel is called what, the Last Second Sports, or
that's Jesse's channel, Last Second
Jesse,
Sports. Yeah, Jesse Naylor. So we do Hammer and Nail show on Thursday nights together, but that channel is a good one too. Jesse does, and he's got a whole team of guys that he works with, and they're putting out really good content over there as well. So,
well, I appreciate you guys, both of you guys, putting out content. It's very enjoyable to watch, man, and I love hearing people that actually know what they're talking about. You know what I mean? And not to be disrespectful to those that don't, but I love passion. No matter, I mean, people are just passionate. But I like those that know their X's and O's and kind of can break things down a little bit, other than just, I hate when people tell me this player sucks. And I ask them, why do you think he sucks? Well, he just sucks. Well, I'm like, can you be more specific? Why? His skill play. What does he do that you don't like? And a lot of times I like it when people are able to tell me like that and then break it down. So this is why I don't like this player. Whether I agree with him or not, at least I can understand their viewpoint. So, and right. I see you guys doing that, talking very, and bringing that acknowledgement to all the Niner faithful. So keep up what you do, Jack. I subscribe to your channel, bro, and I'll be definitely following you from here on.
That's awesome. I really appreciate it. I appreciate all the kind words that you've given me, and I'll check your channel out as well. And don't be a stranger. Every time you see us on, come on, jump on. If you got something you want to say about a game too, that'd be great to hear. And or whatever your thoughts are, it'd be fun to have you on to wrap when we're doing these
absolutely
shows.
Jack, I'll definitely stop by and say hello to you guys. And yeah, if you ever want to see my show Niner Sickness, you're welcome to come on. If you like to be a guest on my show for 10-15 minutes, that'll be awesome too, bro. But I know you're very busy, bro, so whatever you can give, I'll take it. And if you can't, no worries, bro. I didn't come on here for that. I just came on here to acknowledge you, brother.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate it. And I hope you have a good day. And then I'm going to go ahead and wrap up everything here.
All right, man. You have a wonderful day.
All right.
Talk to you later.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Bye. All right. No, this was a good show. A lot of fun. We got through a lot of calls. We only took us an hour and a half. It wasn't like, if you remember the last time that we did this about a month ago, we were on for about 3 hours. And so we'll definitely probably get back to those days at some point, but today I got to cut it a little bit short, but you guys were on it. Nice tight calls today. Some really good discussions, some good back and forth. You guys were letting me go off a little bit on Trey Lance and my thoughts there without killing me too much. And it was fun. So I really appreciate all of you joining. If you're watching this and you're not subscribed to the channel, please go ahead and subscribe, hit the like button, hit that little notification button, little bell there, so that you know every time that we're going live or some new content hints. And we look forward to doing this as much as possible. And definitely thank you all. And we'll be talking to you soon. Have a good day.